I started to realize how blind loyalty to anime studios is not the right way to enjoy entertainment in this medium. For this, I'll be discussing Studio Shaft and, to a much more deeper level, the show March Comes In Like Lion to Do So, which I refer to here as 3 Lion, or just March. I may continue to fall in the traps I argue against here, but, if anything, it's a reminder to not follow in my footsteps, whether this is heard by my future self or anyone else. I realize I'm not saying something new here. Other anime bloggers, reviewers, what have you, some even better than what I hope to do here. Nonetheless, I'd like to share my experience into the matter. After all, I am interested in having a conversation about this. My history with Shaft shows has generally been positive. I hold the Monogatari series in high regard. Nisekoi was a great adaptation, and I look forward to sitting down to properly finish Madoka Magica and any other shows I've missed. Usually, when I spot a show that has been made by them on a seasonal chart, I pay attention. It was no different when 3 Lion was announced. For those who don't know, 3 Lion is a 2-cour slice of life show made by Shaft that ran from late 2016 to early 2017. It follows Rei Kiriyama, a professional shogi player whose struggling in his past life left him scarred, living with depression. An individual trying to make it in the world of not just shogi, but those around him. His only solace is a family of 4 that gave him the feeling of family, a comfort, of warmth. If I were to believe what the summaries say, this sounds like a piece of entertainment that aims to tackle a glum feeling and how it's portrayed in media. While admirable, I realize that the appeal of 3 Lion for me isn't the premise. This is where my issues begin, starting with the main character. I have a problem connecting with him. I don't know what depression is like, let alone fathom the idea of living with it. Having a reminder that this show deals with it frustrates me, because it reminds me of how helpless I am in helping my close friends who suffer from this. My role is reduced to lending them a shoulder to cry on, or an ear that attentively listens to what they say. But I want to do more. I like to know a way to get them out of that place. Being straight with these people doesn't help either, and can put them in a dangerous situation. There's a lot I don't know or refuse to understand about depression, and it sucks that I can be something more. One of the major elements of this show is shogi, an ancient Japanese board game. Whenever there's a match, I sit there staring blankly at the screen. For those who understand the rules of the game, it's a treat at how cerebral the scene is, no doubt. As someone who isn't knowledgeable on the rules, it completely loses me. I fail to appreciate the complexity of how a shogi match plays out. 3 Lion has tried to show the audience the basics. There was a segment in the first cour where Momo wanted to learn how to play shogi, and it used the segue masterfully to teach the audience the basics of shogi piece movement, by the personification of the shogi pieces as cats. It was cute, for sure, but I'm not too sure as to its effectiveness. I realize that suggesting the show based on shogi teaches me how to play it is disingenuous. Yet I think of Hikaru no Go, whose matches were easier to follow, despite not understanding the rules of Go. You could argue that Hikaru's intention was to teach people how to play Go, with a thin veil of fiery shonen action behind it. And, even if it didn't, its accessibility was far more than 3 Lions. I believe it fails by focusing on an inherently difficult board game, and the anime should have considered those who don't understand the game by at least including splash screens of basic shogi moves and situations, even if the manga did no such thing. So far, I talk about my issues with the show. What does Shaft have to do with this? By the time 3 Lion was brought to my attention, I was a Shaft fanatic, willing to see anything new they put out. The summary provided enough information to go on, but I was blind to the discourse. Pretty visuals and the eccentric Shaft style were all I needed to pick this up. I'm disappointed in myself for not going the extra mile, and I feel like I got burned. All I'm left with is frustration with each episode I watch, looking for something to justify the time I have put into it. I can't help but think that, for instance, if I had at least saw an anime adaptation announcement discussion thread on Reddit, I would be better informed as to what to expect. I want to enjoy this because of who produced it, but I can't. It's not even a matter of the show being bad. I'm sure those who liked it like it intensely, but I am one man struggling to find what's so good about this with characters I can't make any meaningful connection to. If anything, this will teach me to look a bit further into the shows that, from a synopsis, interest me. I'm willing to have a conversation and, hopefully, see what you are seeing regarding Three Lion. Let's chat. Thank you for watching. Until next time, with nothing more to say, signing out.